Welcome, folks. We are excited to have Mr. Dheeraj Bhatia as our guest today. With a strong background in publishing, EdTech, and FinTech, Mr. Bhatia has made a remarkable impact on these industries through the power of technology. Former co-founder KIPS, leading publisher of school computer education books and digital interactive tools, used by more than 6,500 schools and over 5 million students in India and Middle East. As a pioneer of the concept of multimedia computer education and interactive edtech tools, Mr. Bhatia has witnessed the transformative impact of these industries on communities, breaking down barriers to education and economic opportunities, empowering individuals to reach their full potential. Mr. Bhatia's passion for developing solutions that educate and empower individuals around the world makes him a valuable asset to the edtech and fintech industries. Mr. Bhatia possesses a wide range of proficiencies, not only in the areas of business and entrepreneurship, but also in cybersecurity and blockchain. Bachelor's in Computer Science from Kurukshetra University and prestigious Educational Global Citizens Program from Harvard School of Business. We are honored today to have Dheeraj ji, the dynamic co-founder of Sanjeevani Wealth Grow, with us. Get ready to transform your startup journey with his expert insights and proven strategies. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Dheeraj Bhatia. Sir, I welcome you.
Thank you, Sonia. Thank you for the nice introduction and such good words. I'm humble. Thank you.
Great, sir. So, sir, we'll start from your educational background in computer science and business. How did this shape your career path and entrepreneurial endeavors?
I started with my education in computers by doing my bachelor's of computer science. Then I was trying to pursue my MBA at that time, and I was into a part-time teaching this thing to make up for my education. And it just happened that I came into education, developed a passion for that, started liking for that, and from there on, then started KIPS for computer training, which was a need of the hour at that time in 90s when people were not aware about computers. And that's how then slowly and steadily the thing started, had its own ups and downs. And that's how, as you mentioned over there, we became India's largest publisher of school computer books, publishing over 5 million books in a year. That was a really, respectful number and gave us a lot of happiness.
Wonderful. Sir, can you share any specific challenges you faced while building Sanjeevani Wealth Grow and how you overcame those challenges?
Sanjeevani Wealth Grow is a startup, just 1-year-old startup only, where I joined initially as an investor. And then there were certain opportunities, and like I invest in startups. So here also I invested. And whenever you invest in any startup, I always feel happy that if we can contribute to the growth of that with our whatsoever the limited potential and the business experience which we have. And that's how we are trying to do that. So Sanjeevani, right from day one, I always have a thought process that whatsoever we do, whether in our personal or professional life, it always starts with values. Yes. So there has to be a clear-cut gap. There has to be a clear-cut gap in the market, and you should be able to fulfill that. So after I divested my equity in the last 3 to 4 years, after divesting my equity in my original company, KIPS, so I was more into financial investments. And I invest my funds, which can give me a stable and secure source of returns with liquidity also. So 3 to 4% was the normal returns which we were getting, which was not okay. And then I realized that this is a problem which not only me, but many others like me are facing, and especially with people with less capital with them. So that is where this Sanjeevani came into, and that's how we are trying to build it. The small and medium enterprises are always in need of working capital. Because any small and medium enterprise which has to grow up, it always faces a challenge of working capital. And at the same time, the investors, anybody who wants to have financial investments, you have very limited avenues where you can get a stable and secure source of income. That's where this is a platform which combines both of them, removes the financial institutions, and that spread gets lessened and transferred to the investors as well as to the small medium enterprises. So it's just a 1 year, so not even a 1 year properly. So the challenges have just started.
Yeah, okay, great. Looking ahead, what do you think will be the most important trends, most promising opportunities for innovations in publishing and edtech industries?
When we talk about publishing and edtech, primarily tech in edtech has yet to take off.
Okay.
It is more about maximum tech, which you see is the exam tech.
Yeah.
Otherwise, as far as the technology is concerned, you get a lot of interactive content. And if it can be used in an innovative way with a proper learning management system, currently the tech has not come properly into the content part. And unless we have the technology in the content part, it would be very, very difficult. So that is the innovation, and that is the challenge, and as well as that is the opportunity. And yes, the challenges which are there, how we can reduce. Technology becomes successful when we use it to scale the business and bring the cost down. So I believe AR, VR based technologies, they have a lot to offer, but the cost is a prohibitive element. And we started working on that, but as of now, we are also struggling. I'm also trying to find out some way wherein we can use technology to provide interactive, engaging content, quality content. And at the same time, when we see, when COVID came, everybody shifted to online. And after COVID, we are back to the same old method of teaching, whereas it has to be a hybrid one. Both human touch in teaching has a very, very crucial role. But at the same time, technology has its own advantages. And I believe we must work continuously. And the gains of online methodology, which we created during the COVID time, they should not be wasted away.
So how can entrepreneurs position themselves? They are changing trends, of course, but how can entrepreneurs position themselves to take advantage of these trends? And how can they capitalize on these developments? Is it possible?
Definitely, it is possible. It will require a lot of research and development. And let's hope you have so many technologies. The Microsoft Lens is there, VR-based things are there. And most important are the mindset. The first and all, we need to have a mindset. People, they don't change when they are given option. People change when there are no options. COVID is the most starking example. Yes. Otherwise, we were all used to that. But COVID really gave a lot of credibility to online. Today, both of us, we have never met in person, but we are talking. You are in India, I am in London, and the things are happening.
Yes.
So that is,
So how can one stay up to date with the latest trends and innovations in the fintech space? And what advice will you have for the entrepreneurs looking to do the same?
See, technology has really given us that option that you can always stay updated. And especially, with the onset of this artificial intelligence, machine learning, today you want to do anything. I think if you have a wish, right? Like we used to say, where there is a will, there is a way. So nowadays, where there is Google, YouTube, and so many other tools, there is always a way. So to always keep yourself updated. I wanted to be connected with all the global educators and learn what are the emerging trends and all without being over there. So that is where the Harvard also, they have their online program. And we did it. It was all among peers. We used to discuss, do that, and the learning happened. And in a normal classroom environment, rather, you have one teacher who is trying to, give or share his knowledge, wisdom. But when you have such kind of environment, it's a more active peer-to-peer learning. So many of the participants, because they are all sharing their thoughts, we all are, seeing what they are doing. And that's where rather you get a much better learning and a thought process. Basically, technology, when we see, if you see in 90s, when we started our first company, Kips, in 1995. At that time, internet had just started. Mostly it was a DOS, not even Windows. So at that time, when the mobile and all came, very few people had the mobiles. Right? But today, when you see, at that time, it was not even 1% in 1998. 25 years later, in 2023, we have 100% mobile adoption, maybe more. Many of the people are having more than one mobile, right? So if in 25 years, we can change from 0 to 100%, so that has to be, technology has the power to be a facilitator for change.
Definitely.
Only thing is, yes, some things we don't realize, but back in the background itself, technology is working. Nowadays, with the coming of AI, GPT, so all the things are happening. So the will has to be there, the passion has to be there. That is the most important part.
True, very true. So as an angel investor, what do you look for in a startup before deciding to invest?
It is a very, very tricky question. When I started my first investment in 2014, I came to USA. I saw people from IIT trying to build up a chain of fast-moving food with the India-centric food and all, and it flopped. But the promoter, the founder, I found that passion in that. So there are two things which I always look forward. Number one, the idea, the values, and number two, the founders. The passion in the founders, right? Like we say, it's never the gun, it's always man behind the gun. So ultimately, whenever you invest something, I always try to invest in a business which I can understand. I will feel happy if I can contribute, but the most important, we always invest in the founders.
The person. Then. What advice would you have for other entrepreneurs looking to foster collaboration in their own ventures?
See, collaboration is the most important part. When we talk about collaboration, there are two levels. End of the day, any organization which has to grow and make a place for itself, it requires innovation. And for innovation, it requires a good team.
Yes.
So I believe mutual trust and respect among the team members, any organization which can create that culture, it will definitely grow. Because when you trust your team members, you give them wings to fly. So they feel that yes, their thoughts, their ideas, they are valued over here. And even if they go wrong, they will be respected. But if they feel that yes, their thoughts, their ideas, their voice will not be trusted, they will not try to say anything. And that is how, you suffocate, you create a suffocating environment. And I don't think you will have any space for innovation. Because the bigger the dream, the more important the dream, the more important the team. So to create a good team and to retain a good team, mutual trust and respect among the team members, I believe is a very, very essential part.
Sir, these days cybersecurity and blockchain are rapidly evolving fields. How do you see these technologies impacting the future of EdTech and FinTech? And what opportunities or challenges do they present for entrepreneurs and investors?
Yeah. So when we talk about cybersecurity and blockchain, so cybersecurity is a challenge as well as is a challenging opportunity, whereas blockchain is a clear-cut opportunity. Today, with everything moving to cloud, internet, and by default, by definition, internet is a porous medium. So the data will flow from one place to another. So every organization has to protect, safeguard its data, its resources. Somehow, in many organizations, that culture or that system of investing for cybersecurity is not that prominent, and that is why you see so many attacks. I always say that if your budget for cybersecurity is less than your coffee budget, tea and coffee budget, you will be and you should be hacked. So this is an important area, and this is the area where most of the there is a very big shortage of cyber security persons. So it is one of the most important emerging career opportunities, and it will always remain over there. Coming to blockchain is again a disruptive technology. And yes, it is taking a little bit time, but slowly all the organizations have started moving, because any organization which wants to maintain transparency and trust in its transactions, so blockchain is the solution.
Right.
So that is how the things. So, and more so in fintechs, so transparency and trust, that they are the most critical.
Definitely. Sir, when investing, how do you balance like the hype around the IPOs and valuations with the actual needs of the startups that may be struggling to secure funding? Because बहुत time देखा जाता है कि एक hype create हो जाती है IPO के around, and the startups are struggling on the other side. So how do you see this basically?
See, hype has its own pros and cons, because you will find either a positive hype or a negative hype, sentiments going up or down. So when it's a positive hype, the advantage is, yes, the valuation they go up, but at the same time, when the hype is in a positive way, there would be many worthy startups who would not have found the funding otherwise. So when it's a positive hype, they also get the benefit. And at the same time, when the hype is down, so there are many worthy startups who may not get the kind of funding. So hype is, I consider it a positive. At the same time, we as an investor, we as an organization, management, we always need to take a holistic and more balanced approach. Yes, because when you get the funding, at the same time, you see nowadays it's a culture of burning money. The investor-driven companies, startups which are there, which have plenty of funds. So at that time, they spend on the things which may not be required.
Right.
But when there is a fund crunch, then automatically the efficiency comes over there. But again, the nature has its own ways of balancing the valuations which you were getting 2 years back and the valuations which you are getting now. I think they're around 30 to 40% down. So ultimately for startups, that is where you have heard this quote many a times. Everyone uses this quote, that your network is your net worth. So a startup has to create that kind of network wherein it can get those funding opportunities.
Sure.
So if you don't have that kind of network, you are bound to face problems.
Oh, very true, right.
So for every business we say it's a reach is the most important, and how you establish the reach at a low cost. That is how networking happens over there.
Very true. So finally, sir, what advice do you have for early stage startups looking to secure investment in a highly competitive market?
So there has to be a clear-cut value. What is the value? What if that idea is not there? Number one. Number two, what are your disruptive elements which you are going to create without burning much money? And ultimately, it's your passion and conviction which speaks for itself. So every entrepreneur has its own, aura.
Right.
So when you create that story, the passion and all, so it takes you forward. There cannot be a clear-cut formula for success. If that is a clear-cut formula, everybody will do that. That is where your skills, your attitude, they really come into being. If I see my journey when I started and where we were not having even funds when we started KIPS, we had just 5,000 rupees, and that too was also borrowed. So we took money at a very, very high cost, 24%, 30%, 35%. But anyhow, the things kept on doing. And the most important part which one should try is that, yes, goodwill. Every organization has its assets and liabilities. I believe if you work on creating a goodwill among the team member, goodwill among the investors, goodwill against your vendors. So I think that intent, that sincerity has its own rewards.
Wonderful.
So when we started, we were not having money to get even the first lot of books printed. And then there was a time when we could get even 100 crores of orders, 1,000 crore of orders get printed on credit, only on the basis of the goodwill which we were able to create. And that is not something which it is our duty, it is our responsibility.
Very true, yes sir. Right. Great sir. Thank you so much for joining us today. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude for sharing your extensive knowledge and experience with us. The discussion has been really informative, engaging, and thought-provoking. We are grateful for providing valuable insights into EdTech, FinTech, and startup industries. Your passion for empowering and educating individuals around the world is truly inspiring. Your contributions have been invaluable, and we look forward to the opportunity to collaborate with you in the future. Thank you, sir.
Wish you all the best.
Right. Thank you, sir.